They only see you standing. They don't see the nights you almost didn't. They see the smile. They see the composure. They see the way you walk into a room like you've got it all together. What they don't see are the nights your pillow was soaked. The nights you stared at the ceiling, wondering if morning was worth waiting for. The nights you had to talk yourself out of giving up. Not once, not twice, but 100 times. They think you're strong because you look fine. But strength, your strength, was forged in darkness. They will never walk through. I'm not talking to everyone. I'm talking to you. Yes, you, the one sitting there, pretending everything's fine. The one who has trained themselves to function with a storm raging inside. You've learned to fight battles nobody claps for. You've learned to suffer without making a sound. You've learned to keep moving while you bleed inside. And you've done it so well, people think you're untouchable. But you're not untouchable. You're human. You've been to the edge more times than you'd ever admit. You've stood in front of that invisible line and thought, one more push and I'm done. And still, you came back. You came back without applause, without witnesses, without anyone knowing what it cost you. Let me ask you something. How many times have you laughed so no one would notice you were breaking? How many times have you said, I'm fine, just so you wouldn't have to explain the storm inside your chest? You go through life playing roles. You show up to work, to family gatherings, to whatever responsibilities are on your plate. And you wear that mask like it's glued to your face. Inside, it's not peace, it's noise. It's echoes of old wounds. It's that voice that whispers, you're not going to make it through this one. And the worst part? The world doesn't stop for you. No one pauses to check if you're okay. You could be drowning and still be expected to swim like nothing's wrong. There's a kind of exhaustion that no sleep can fix. You know it. You wake up with it. It's in your bones. It's the heaviness that makes every step feel like you're dragging 1,000 pounds behind you. It's the fog in your mind that makes simple decisions feel like climbing mountains. And then there's the night, the hours when the world goes quiet and your thoughts get loud. The memories you tried to bury come back. The fears you thought you'd outgrown sit beside you like old friends. The mistakes you wish you could undo replay in your head like broken film. Your room feels colder. The walls feel closer. You swear you can hear your own heartbeat, loud and uneven. People talk about pain like it's visible, like it's always blood, bruises, or tears. But the pain you carry, it's invisible. And that makes it even harder, because invisible pain gets ignored. Invisible pain gets misunderstood. Invisible pain gets doubted. But here's what they don't know. You are still here. Every night that came for you failed. Every shadow that tried to consume you failed. Every moment you thought was the end wasn't. You've survived storms no one saw. You've rebuilt yourself in silence. And you've done it without credit, without thanks, without anyone realizing how hard it was to just breathe. That's strength, not the kind they write about in books, not the kind they post motivational quotes about. The real kind, the ugly, quiet, gritty kind. You've been your own soldier, your own medic, your own savior. Think back. Remember that night when the air felt so heavy you thought it might crush you. When you sat in the dark and every second felt like it was dragging you under. Your breath was shallow. Your hands were cold. The walls around you felt closer with each minute. The clock ticked, but time didn't move. You counted the hours until sunrise, not because you wanted the day, but because you needed proof you could last that long. And you did. Maybe barely, maybe in pieces, but you did. The morning came, and with it, another day of pretending. That's what they'll never understand. You fight these wars in secret, and the fact that you're even here right now, that's a victory they'll never see. They think strength is about winning battles in the open, but your battles aren't fought under sunlight. Your battles are fought at 2 a.m. with no cheering crowd, no cameras, no speeches, just you and the decision to keep going. One more hour, one more day, and every time you make that decision, you win. It doesn't matter if you're limping, it doesn't matter if you're crawling, it doesn't matter if you're screaming inside. If you're still here, you've already beaten odds most people couldn't survive. This is the part they'll never understand. Your strength didn't come from comfort. It came from chaos, from nights that could have destroyed you, from mornings you faced even when everything in you wanted to stay in bed forever. They see the surface. You know the depths. You fought wars no one will ever write about. You've carried pain no one will ever measure. And you're still standing. They only see you standing. But I see the nights you almost didn't. And if you take one thing from this, let it be this. Surviving in silence doesn't make you weak. It makes you unstoppable. Because the battles you fight when no one's watching, they are the reason you can't be broken. You've been tempered in fire they could never stand in. You are still here, and that is your proof. Listen, here's what no one tells you. Strength isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the hours when nobody's calling, when the phone is silent, when your room feels like a cell, and your thoughts feel like chains. That's when you find out what you're made of. Not when you're cheered for, not when people are watching, but when it's just you and the dark. You've been there. I know you have. You've sat on the edge of your bed at 3 a.m., staring at the floor, wondering what the point of all this is. You've walked around your own home like a stranger in it. You've listened to the hum of the fridge, the distant sound of cars, just to remind yourself the world is still moving, even when you feel stuck in place. And that's where the real war happens, in the stillness that feels endless. People imagine loneliness as being without people, but you know better. You felt lonely in a crowded room. You felt lonely in conversations. You felt lonely while surrounded by voices, because none of them were speaking to the part of you that was screaming. You can laugh with them, but your laughter echoes differently inside your chest. It's hollow. It's rehearsed. You can sit at the dinner table, but it feels like there's a wall of glass between you and everyone else. And the worst part is, you've stopped expecting them to understand. Because how could they? They've never fought your wars. The nights bring back memories you didn't ask for. Maybe it's the face of someone who left without explanation. Maybe it's the sound of words that cut deeper than knives. Maybe it's the memory of a time you felt safe, and the reminder that it's gone. The past has a way of sneaking into the present when you're alone. It sits next to you. It whispers. It pulls you back into moments you've tried to forget. You relive them, not because you want to, but because your mind replays them like a cruel storyteller who doesn't know how to stop. And every time you get pulled back there, you have to fight to return to now. That's a battle in itself. But again, you made it back. Every memory that tried to trap you, you walked out of it. every thought that told you you'd never escape. You proved wrong. No one saw it. No one gave you credit. But you know, you were there. You felt the weight of it, and you carried it anyway. That's the thing about you. You've been through hell, and you don't even brag about it. Most people think strength is loud. Yours is silent, and that makes it even more dangerous. There comes a moment in the dark when you stop waiting for someone to save you, when you stop hoping someone will notice you're not okay, when you realize no one's coming. It's a harsh truth, but it's also a freeing one, because once you stop waiting for help, you start becoming it. You start learning how to stand on your own. You start building a version of yourself that doesn't need permission to keep living. That's how quiet warriors are born, not out of choice, but out of necessity. Picture this. It's another night, the kind where you can't sleep, so you sit by the window, watching the streetlights paint the pavement. The world looks peaceful, but your mind isn't. It's pacing, it's restless, it's dragging you into every possible disaster, every worst-case scenario, every fear you've ever had. You could give in to it. You could let it take you. But instead, you breathe. You grip the edge of the chair. You tell yourself, not tonight. You're not taking me tonight. That's what strength looks like when no one's watching. One day, people will notice, not because you told them, but because you'll walk differently. You'll carry yourself like someone who has been to war and came back sharper. They won't know why. They won't know what it cost you. They'll just feel it. And they'll never understand the nights that made you, the nights that almost ended you, the nights that forced you to become the weapon you are now. You're here. That's the headline. You're here despite every reason you had not to be. You're here despite the storms, the shadows, the voices, the weight. That's victory. Not the kind that gets a trophy, not the kind that gets a speech, but the kind that makes you unbreakable. They only see you standing, but I see the nights you almost didn't. And if they ask where your strength comes from, you can just smile, because they'll never understand. Thanks for listening. If you're still standing, type it below and share this with someone fighting their unseen war.